Hey, what's going on guys? My name's youcanthavethisusername, and today I'll be counting down what are, in my opinion, the top 5 best maps in Battlefield 1. This is my first top 5 video I've done on the channel, so if you guys like this sort of thing, let me know down in the comments. For this list, I'm going to be taking into account things like the general map design, the pace of gameplay, and things like that. But I'm basing this list mostly off of how fun these maps are to play, specifically in the Conquest game mode and Operations if it's available on that map. Now, keep in mind, this is just my personal opinion. If you disagree with how I rank these maps, feel free to let me know down in the comments section. Anyway, coming in at number 5 is Ballroom Blitz. This map, based around a French chateau, has a great combination of both close quarters and long distance engagements in the trenches and around the main building itself. In Conquest, a lot of the fighting happens around the chateau itself, which opens up the opportunity for some fun sniping on the balcony area around the courtyard and some awesome flanks in the hallways. This long hallway by the C objective is actually where I got my first big clip on Battlefield 1, back when I used to play with my brightness turned all the way down to 0. In Conquest, Ballroom Blitz plays pretty well, but Operations is definitely where it's at for this map. The first sector with all the trenches specifically is pretty fun to play on, and it just looks really cool. The third sector in the chateau is also one of the best sectors to play on since all of the action is centered around the main building. Overall, this map has pretty much everything: infantry, planes, tanks, you name it. I have fun pretty much every time I play on this map, so that's why it's number 5 on the list. Coming in at number 4, we've got Argonne Forest. Argonne Forest is a pretty small, fast-paced map in comparison to some of the other maps in Battlefield 1. Most of the fighting takes place at short range, so you'll see a ton of SMGs and especially shotguns if you play on this map. There are some areas of the map though where engagement distances are a little longer, like on the bridge in the middle of the map by the C objective and this German trench line by one of the other flags. Argonne Forest has plenty of flanking routes along the edges of the map, and in Conquest, it flows pretty well in general. I enjoy playing on Argonne Forest because I like trying to outflank the enemy, and flanking on this map is usually extremely effective since all the enemies are usually clustered in trenches or bunkers. On Operations, it can be a little frustrating sometimes trying to break through the first sector, but if you get in a decent lobby where one side isn't completely dominating, then this map is extremely fun. It flows well, it has a good design, the layout doesn't give any side a serious advantage, and it just looks really cool, so that's why it's number 4 on this list. For the number 3 spot, we've got Achi Baba. This map, set near Gallipoli, is basically a bigger version of Argonne Forest with more open areas in between objectives in a different setting. Engagement distances vary from close range around some of the objectives to medium range in the open fields, so pretty much any weapon can be used on this map effectively. This map, in my opinion, is one of the best in the game because it's always so fast-paced. This is one of those maps where the whole team tends to stick together and attack objectives as a group, which leads to some huge battles and awesome moments. Also, just like Argonne Forest, there are plenty of flanking routes through the natural canyons and valleys throughout the map, which has led to some pretty awesome streaks. Operations on this map, while difficult at times, can be one of the most enjoyable experiences on this entire game, which is why it comes in at number 3 on my list. At number 2, we've got Riversong. This map isn't extremely popular within the Battlefield community, but I honestly think this map is one of the best in the game. It really gives off a World War I vibe with its massive trench networks. Inside the trenches, combat can be extremely close quarters, but above the trenches on ground level, gameplay tends to be mid to long range, which means that pretty much any weapon can be used effectively on this map with the right playstyle. Also, there's plenty of opportunities for huge flanks on this map because of the way the trenches are set up. For example, this specific section of trench towards the middle of the map is an extremely common spot for flanks. Both Conquest, Assault, and Shock Operations are extremely fun to play on this map. Starting at the British trench line, pushing out over the open field to the German line, then crossing a valley and infiltrating more German lines and trenches to reach the railway station is one of the best experiences in the entire game. This map looks awesome, it plays well, it gives off a very World War I feel, and it really gives you the chance to experience trench warfare, which is why it's number 2 on this list. For the honorable mention, we've got Fort de Vaux. This map is all about close quarters action and is always fast-paced. It's a great map in general, but just outside of the top 5 in my opinion. Now, for the number 1 spot and what I think is the best map in Battlefield 1, we've got Passchendaele. This map is just awesome. It's dark, it's gritty, it's fast-paced, it's everything. Intricate networks of trenches cover the map, and the middle is filled with shell holes and destroyed buildings. The spawns for the British and German factions look really cool, and the fighting in No Man's Land is always chaotic and action-packed. Like Achi Baba, Passchendaele is one of those maps where the entire team tends to stick together, which leads to some massive battles around objectives. This map is by far my favorite map in the entire game. It looks awesome, it plays really well, and it really has that World War I atmosphere, which is why it's number 1 on this list. Well, that's it for this video. Drop a like if you enjoyed. If you disagree with my list, feel free to post your own in the comments, and let me know if you want to see more of these types of videos in the future. That's all for now, and I'll see you guys in the next one.